You've been operating a reality-tuning device your entire life without knowing it. A quantum mechanism that's been documented in scientific literature, measured in laboratories, and yet deliberately kept out of mainstream conversation. Why? Because accepting what I'm about to show you would mean admitting that emotions aren't problems to solve, disorders to medicate, or states to control through willpower and therapy. Here's the truth. What you call emotions are not internal feelings happening inside your head. They are electromagnetic broadcast frequencies emanating from your nervous system, transmitting continuously into the quantum substrate of reality itself. Every emotional state you experience is your biological system selecting which channel of infinite possible realities you're tuning into. And the channel you broadcast on directly determines which version of physical reality materializes around you. Most people treat emotions like weather, random internal experiences that arrive uninvited and must be endured or suppressed. But what if I told you that every emotion is actually giving you precise feedback about which probability channel you're currently locked onto? That anxiety isn't warning you about danger. It's showing you that your system is broadcasting on the threat frequency, amplifying dangerous possibilities in your field. That joy isn't just feeling good. It's confirmation that you're transmitting on the opportunity frequency, collapsing favorable circumstances from quantum potential into lived experience. When you understand emotions as broadcast frequencies rather than feelings requiring management, everything transforms. Not just how you feel, but what actually manifests in your external reality. Because you're no longer fighting against a precision tuning instrument. You're finally learning how to operate it consciously. I'm going to walk you through the exact mechanics of how this frequency system operates. How your nervous system functions as a biological transmitter that interfaces directly with quantum probability fields. Why every strategy you've used to manage, fix, or improve your emotions has actually been creating destructive interference patterns that scramble your reality broadcast. And most importantly, how to shift from unconscious emotional reactivity to conscious frequency selection, where you choose which reality channel crystallizes around you. Let's start with what's actually happening in your body when you experience what conventional psychology calls an emotion. Your brain isn't creating a subjective internal sensation that exists only in your mind. It's generating a specific electromagnetic oscillation pattern, a measurable frequency wave that radiates outward from your neural tissue into the space surrounding your physical body. This has been mapped extensively using magnetoencephalography, technology sensitive enough to detect the electromagnetic signatures of different emotional states. When your system enters what you'd call anxiety, it generates wave oscillations in the 4 to 8 Hz bandwidth. These are slow, irregular pulses with erratic amplitude spikes. When anger arises, your brain produces oscillations in the 13 to 30 Hz range, rapid chaotic fluctuations with high-intensity peaks. Joy generates smooth, coherent waves in the 8 to 12 Hz spectrum with consistent flowing amplitude. Depression creates ultra-slow oscillations below 4 Hz, dampened waves with minimal variation. These aren't poetic descriptions or metaphorical language. These are literal electromagnetic frequencies that can be isolated, recorded, and analyzed in scientific settings. Your emotional state in any given moment is a precise frequency signature broadcasting from your nervous system outward into your environment. But here's where conventional understanding breaks down completely. These electromagnetic fields don't terminate at the boundary of your skin. Research has confirmed that the electromagnetic emissions from your brain extend approximately 3 meters beyond your physical body in all directions. You are, quite literally, a biological broadcasting station, constantly transmitting emotional frequency signals into the space around you. And these transmissions aren't passive radiation. They're actively interfacing with the quantum field structure that underlies all physical reality. Quantum field theory tells us that the foundational layer of reality exists in what's called superposition, a state where infinite possible configurations occupy the same location simultaneously, waiting for something to cause one specific configuration to actualize into material form. Your emotional frequencies are that causative factor. They function as tuning signals that cause the quantum substrate to resonate at matching frequencies, which amplifies certain probability patterns while suppressing others. When your system broadcasts anxiety at 6 Hz, you're not just feeling nervous about potential threats. You're literally causing the probability field surrounding you to resonate with the anxiety bandwidth, the spectrum of possible realities aligned with danger, loss, scarcity, and threat. The quantum field responds by amplifying probability waves that match your broadcast frequency, making anxiety-compatible scenarios statistically more likely to collapse from superposition into your tangible, lived experience. When you broadcast joy at 10 Hz, you're tuning into what I call the opportunity bandwidth, the range of quantum possibilities aligned with connection, expansion, abundance, and favorable synchronicities. The field amplifies these matching probabilities, making joy-compatible scenarios more likely to materialize into your reality. This isn't metaphysical speculation about vibrations and the law of attraction. This is electromagnetic resonance between your nervous system's broadcast frequency and the quantum's probability field. Your body is the tuning device. The frequency it transmits determines which channel of reality you receive. Now let's examine what happens when you relate to these frequencies the way you've been culturally programmed to, as feelings that need to be judged, controlled, managed, or eliminated based on whether they're categorized as positive or negative, appropriate or inappropriate, healthy or unhealthy. Imagine anxiety frequency arises in your system, broadcasting at 6 Hz. Your conditioning immediately kicks in. You label it as bad, as something wrong that needs to be stopped. So you attempt to suppress it, to push it down, to force it away through willpower or distraction. But you're not eliminating the frequency. You're generating a second, conflicting frequency, what I call the resistance signal. The anxiety continues transmitting at 6 Hz, while you simultaneously broadcast the suppression frequency, which typically manifests as bodily tension around 15 Hz. These two incompatible frequencies don't cancel each other out. They create what's called destructive interference, a phenomenon where conflicting wave patterns produce chaotic, unstable signals that corrupt the clarity of your broadcast. Your tuning mechanism begins jumping erratically between channels, unable to maintain stable lock on any single frequency. The result is scattered, unpredictable reality manifestation. Random circumstances that seem unconnected to any coherent pattern. This explains why people who chronically suppress anxiety tend to experience the very things they fear manifesting in seemingly random, unpredictable ways. They're not failing at suppression. They're creating broadcast static, interference patterns that produce unstable channel selection. The anxiety frequency is still transmitting underneath the suppression layer, but now it's being scrambled by the resistance frequency, creating chaotic tuning that locks onto the threat channel intermittently and unpredictably rather than allowing the anxiety frequency to run its natural cycle and shift. The identical mechanism operates with every frequency in your emotional spectrum. Suppress anger and you don't eliminate it. You generate interference static between the anger frequency and your performed calmness, which manifests as passive-aggressive behavioral patterns, sudden explosive releases, or chronic somatic symptoms as the conflicting frequencies destabilize your broadcast coherence and leak out through your body. Suppress sadness, and it creates interference with your projected happiness or positivity, resulting in emotional numbness, disconnection from authentic feeling, a flatness that tunes you to the isolation channel, rather than allowing the sadness frequency to complete its natural processing function and shift organically to neutral or elevated frequencies. Psychophysiological research has documented this extensively. Emotional suppression correlates directly with elevated physiological stress markers, cardiovascular strain, immune dysregulation, and cognitive performance degradation. But the mechanism isn't simply biological stress response. It's frequency interference at the quantum level, creating broadcast instability that manifests as both internal nervous system dysregulation and external reality chaos. The paradigm shift that changes everything is this. Stop relating to frequencies as feelings that require management, evaluation, or control. Start recognizing them as broadcast signals carrying precise information about which reality channel your system is currently locked onto. Every emotional frequency that arises in your system is providing real-time channel feedback. It's showing you which bandwidth of quantum probability you're currently amplifying in your field. When you learn to read frequencies as data, rather than judging them as good or bad subjective experiences, you gain direct conscious awareness of which version of reality you're in the active process of manifesting. Anxiety frequency in the 4 to 8 Hz range indicates your system has locked onto what I call the threat channel. You're not experiencing anxiety because danger is objectively present in your environment. You're broadcasting on a frequency that tunes your local probability field to amplify threat-matching scenarios, possibilities aligned with danger, scarcity, loss, and harm. The anxiety itself isn't predicting or warning about future danger. It's showing you in real time that your current electromagnetic broadcast resonates with danger probabilities in the quantum substrate around you. This completely reframes how you work with anxiety. Instead of trying to eliminate it because it feels bad, or being controlled by it because it feels urgent, you recognize it as precise channel feedback. Your tuning mechanism is communicating. You are currently broadcasting on the threat channel. Scenarios matching this frequency are being quantum mechanically amplified in your probability field right now. This awareness gives you the opportunity to consciously retune before those amplified threat probabilities collapse from quantum potential into physical manifestation. Joy frequency in the 8 to 12 Hz range indicates your system has locked onto the opportunity channel. You're broadcasting on a frequency that resonates with connection, expansion, creative possibility, and favorable circumstances. Joy isn't merely a pleasant subjective feeling. It's feedback confirming that your current electromagnetic broadcast is actively amplifying beneficial probabilities in your surrounding field. Anger frequency in the 13 to 30 Hz range indicates tuning to the boundary violation channel. You're broadcasting on a frequency that resonates with scenarios involving your limits being tested, your energy being drained, or your sovereignty being compromised. Anger isn't a destructive emotion to eliminate or a problem to solve. It's information. It's your system communicating that your broadcast is currently amplifying situations that require boundary reinforcement, energy reclamation, or protective redirection. Depression frequency below 4 Hz indicates tuning to what I call the stagnation channel. You're broadcasting on such a low, slow frequency that very few probability patterns are being amplified at all. Your quantum field is essentially in minimal manifestation mode, barely selecting any possibilities for actualization. Depression isn't a disease requiring pharmaceutical intervention or a character flaw requiring correction. It's feedback that your broadcast frequency has dropped below the threshold required for active reality selection, that your system needs recalibration. When you read frequencies this way, as channel indicators revealing which reality bandwidth you're currently transmitting on, you stop trying to control them or make them go away. Instead, you receive the precise data they're providing and use that information to make conscious adjustments to your broadcast frequency based on which reality channel you want to tune into. Now here's what transforms everything about how you experience emotions. Frequencies have natural life cycles. They arise, broadcast for a specific duration, and naturally transition to different frequencies according to their inherent wave pattern. When you allow frequencies to complete their organic cycle without adding interference or amplification, they provide their channel information and then automatically shift to the next frequency in your system's natural progression sequence. Neuroscience has verified this through detailed tracking of the neurochemical cascades associated with emotional states. When left completely uninterrupted, an emotional frequency completes its primary broadcast cycle in approximately 90 seconds. The neurochemical surge that generates the initial frequency peaks within 30 to 60 seconds and fully metabolizes, returning to baseline within 90 seconds of the initial surge. But most people never experience this natural 90-second cycle because they interrupt it immediately through one of 2 mechanisms. Resistance, which includes suppression, denial, distraction, and avoidance, creates interference static that fragments the clean frequency signal into multiple conflicting transmissions that continue broadcasting indefinitely. Amplification, which includes rumination, story elaboration, mental replay, and identification with the emotional state, feeds additional energy into the frequency, artificially extending its broadcast duration far beyond its natural lifespan. The practice that creates radical transformation is this. When a frequency arises in your system, allow it to broadcast without adding interference or amplification. Don't suppress it. Don't feed it. Simply recognize that you're temporarily tuned to a specific channel and allow the frequency to complete its natural 90-second cycle uninterrupted. This isn't suppression. Suppression requires muscular effort to push the frequency down, which generates the resistance signal that creates interference static. Allowing requires relaxation, a conscious choice to simply let the frequency broadcast cleanly through your system, without adding conflicting signals through resistance or extending its duration through amplification via mental story. When you allow anxiety frequency to broadcast for 90 seconds, without adding resistance static or amplification through catastrophic thinking, something remarkable occurs. The frequency peaks naturally, provides its precise channel information about which threat-aligned probabilities are currently being amplified in your field, and then organically shifts to a different frequency. What remains after the shift isn't lingering anxiety or suppressed tension. It's clarity, direct awareness of which habitual thought patterns, belief structures, or attention habits are tuning you to the threat channel, which gives you conscious choice about whether you want to maintain that broadcast or retune to a different channel. When you allow anger frequency to broadcast naturally, without suppression or rumination, it peaks, shows you exactly where energetic boundaries are being violated, or where your life force is being blocked or misdirected, and then shifts organically to neutral baseline or determination frequency. The anger doesn't control your behavior, and you don't suppress its message. It completes its broadcast cycle, and your system naturally retunes itself. When you allow sadness frequency to broadcast without interference, it peaks, processes whatever is completing, ending, or releasing from your energetic field, and then shifts to spaciousness, openness, or neutral frequency that allows entirely new channels to become accessible. The sadness isn't depression or a problem. It's a natural frequency transition that facilitates system recalibration, clearing out old patterns to make space for new ones. Now we need to address the variable that determines how powerfully your emotional frequencies actually affect physical reality manifestation. It's called coherence, the degree of clarity, stability, and consistency in your broadcast signal. Coherent frequencies are clean, stable transmissions that maintain consistent wave oscillation without interference noise or signal distortion. Incoherent frequencies are unstable, noisy broadcasts contaminated with static interference and conflicting signals. And coherence directly determines the magnitude of your reality tuning effects. When your frequency is coherent, when you're broadcasting a clear, sustained signal without internal conflict, contradiction, or interference patterns, that frequency creates powerful resonance with matching quantum probability channels. The result is that specific scenarios aligned with your broadcast frequency collapse from superposition into physical manifestation with high consistency, high speed, and high reliability. This is the mechanism behind why people in coherent joy states seem to effortlessly attract opportunities, synchronistic connections, and favorable circumstances. Their joy frequency is broadcasting a clear, stable 10 Hz signal that creates powerful resonance with opportunity channel probabilities. Those probabilities collapse into tangible experience naturally and consistently, because the broadcast signal carrying them is coherent, undiluted by conflicting frequencies. This is why people in coherent determination states accomplish outcomes that seem impossible to others observing from outside. Determination generates coherent frequency in the 16 to 20 Hz range that resonates powerfully with completion channel probabilities. Those probabilities collapse into material results through sustained, coherent broadcast, regardless of external obstacles or apparent limitations. But most people never experience truly coherent frequency broadcast because they're generating multiple conflicting signals simultaneously. They broadcast desire at one frequency while broadcasting doubt at another. They broadcast hope while simultaneously broadcasting fear. They broadcast confidence while broadcasting unworthiness. Each conflicting frequency creates destructive interference with the others, producing incoherent broadcast patterns that generate weak, scattered, inconsistent manifestation effects. Here's where the practice becomes counterintuitive. The way to develop broadcast coherence is not to try maintaining only positive frequencies while suppressing negative ones. Coherence doesn't come from forcing yourself into joy while pushing down fear. It comes from allowing whatever frequency is naturally present in your system to broadcast cleanly without adding conflicting signals through resistance or amplification. When fear arises and you allow it to broadcast naturally for 90 seconds without adding the resistance frequency of suppression or the amplification frequency of catastrophic story, the fear frequency itself is coherent. It provides its channel information clearly, completes its cycle cleanly, and your system naturally retunes. Your field is then clear for the next organic frequency to arise coherently, without contamination from suppressed or amplified previous frequencies still lingering in your system. This creates what researchers call effective flexibility, the capacity to move fluidly through different emotional frequencies without getting stuck in repetitive loops or chronic patterns. And effective flexibility at the individual level produces what I call field flexibility at the quantum level, which allows rapid reconfiguration of which probability channels are accessible for manifestation at any given moment. Your emotional frequencies don't broadcast in isolation. They're constantly interfacing with the electromagnetic broadcasts of every other person in your environment, creating collective frequency fields that determine consensus reality, the shared channel of experience that groups of people perceive and participate in together. When you enter a space where multiple people are broadcasting coherent fear frequency, a high-stress workplace, an anxious family gathering, a conflict-saturated home environment, their collective frequency field creates powerful resonance with threat channel probabilities that affects everyone in that space. You detect this immediately, not through conscious thought, but through direct nervous system perception. Your electromagnetic field picks up the collective fear frequency and begins entraining to it, synchronizing with it. Entrainment is a well-documented phenomenon in physics, where oscillating systems synchronize their frequencies when brought into proximity. Your emotional frequency naturally begins matching the dominant frequency of collective fields you enter. This is the actual mechanism behind emotional contagion, why emotional states spread through groups like wildfire. You're not just psychologically empathizing. Your broadcast frequency is literally synchronizing with others through electromagnetic resonance at the quantum field level. This has profound implications for how you navigate reality. If you enter a fear-saturated environment while broadcasting coherent, calm frequency, one of two things will happen. Either your frequency will entrain to the collective fear, pulling you into the threat channel along with everyone else, or your coherent, calm frequency will begin shifting the collective field itself, pulling it toward the calm channel. Which outcome occurs depends on the coherence and amplitude, the signal strength, of your individual frequency relative to the collective. If your calm broadcast is more coherent and sustained than the collective fear around you, you can actually shift the entire field's resonance pattern, causing the probability channels accessible to everyone in that space to shift from threat-aligned to calm-aligned scenarios. This is the real mechanism behind what people call holding space or changing the energy in a room. It's not metaphorical or mystical. It's frequency mechanics. Your coherent broadcast is creating interference patterns with the incoherent collective field, and if your signal is sufficiently coherent and strong, it can retune the dominant frequency pattern of the entire collective field. This also explains why certain rare individuals seem to carry stable reality with them wherever they go. Regardless of how chaotic the external environment becomes, their personal experience remains consistent, peaceful, aligned. They're broadcasting such powerfully coherent frequency that their local probability field maintains stable tuning, even when collective fields around them are fragmenting into chaos and fear. The practical application is this: your emotional frequency doesn't only determine your individual reality channel. It contributes to the collective frequency field that determines shared consensus reality for everyone in your proximity. When you develop the capacity to maintain coherent broadcast regardless of environmental entrainment pressures, you become a stabilizing anchor point in collective fields. literally helping shift the probability channels accessible to entire groups. Now I'm going to give you the specific protocol for working with emotions as frequencies to consciously tune which realities collapse from quantum potential into physical manifestation. This protocol operates through direct frequency mechanics, not through psychological reframing, positive thinking, or mental manipulation. First practice, frequency recognition. Throughout your day, begin training yourself to notice when frequency shifts occur in your system. Not what triggered them, not what story your mind creates about them. Just the raw somatic sensation of the frequency change itself in your body. Anxiety feels like rapid, shallow oscillation, usually centered in your chest or solar plexus. Joy feels like smooth, expansive waves moving through your torso. Anger feels like intense, chaotic spikes, often localized in your head, jaw, or hands. Depression feels like slow, heavy, dampened oscillation throughout your entire body. Train yourself to catch the frequency shift before your mind constructs narrative around it. The instant you notice the oscillation change, you've caught the frequency at its point of emergence. This is your critical intervention window, the moment where you have maximum leverage to work with the frequency consciously rather than being carried unconsciously by it. If what we've explored so far is opening something in you, if you're beginning to recognize yourself as a conscious broadcaster rather than a passive feeler, then you're ready for the complete system. In my book, Beyond the Frequencies, A Quantum Guide to Consciousness Mastery, I walk you through all 9 master frequencies and the step-by-step practices for moving from unconscious transmission to becoming the broadcast itself, shifting from seeking favorable channels to living as the field. It's linked in the pinned comment below. Second practice, clean broadcasting. Once you've recognized that a frequency has arisen, make a conscious choice to neither suppress it nor amplify it. Don't generate the resistance frequency by trying to push it down. Don't feed amplification energy into it by building mental story around it. Simply allow the frequency to broadcast cleanly through your nervous system without interference. This requires relaxation rather than tension. It requires present moment awareness rather than distraction into past or future. Set a mental timer for 90 seconds and simply observe the frequency as it broadcasts through its natural life cycle. You'll notice that without the resistant static of suppression or the fuel of mental story amplification, the frequency completes its cycle with remarkable speed. The oscillation peaks, provides its channel information, and naturally transitions to a different frequency state. Third practice, channel data extraction. After the frequency has peaked and begun its natural shift, ask yourself this precise question. Which reality channel is this frequency showing me I'm currently tuned to? Fear frequency indicates tuning to the threat channel. Joy frequency indicates tuning to the opportunity channel. Anger frequency indicates tuning to the boundary violation channel. Sadness frequency indicates tuning to the completion or release channel. This isn't psychological interpretation or emotional analysis. It's reading the direct channel data that the frequency is broadcasting. Each frequency transmits on a specific bandwidth that resonates with specific probability patterns in the quantum field. The frequency is showing you which channel you're currently receiving, which class of probabilities you're currently amplifying. Fourth practice, conscious channel selection. Now that you have the channel information from the frequency, you can consciously choose whether to continue broadcasting on that frequency or to retune to a different channel. If fear frequency showed you that you're tuned to the threat channel, you can recognize my current broadcast is quantum mechanically amplifying threat-matching scenarios in my probability field. Do I want to continue this transmission, or do I want to consciously retune? If you choose to retune, you can deliberately shift your broadcast frequency through attention redirection, physiological adjustment like breathwork or body positioning, or environmental change like stepping outside or changing rooms. This isn't positive thinking or mental gymnastics. It's conscious frequency selection based on the channel feedback you just received. You're using the information the frequency provided to make informed choices about which channel to broadcast on moving forward. Fifth practice, coherence cultivation. As you practice allowing frequencies to broadcast cleanly without interference over days and weeks, you'll notice your emotional experience becomes progressively more coherent. Instead of experiencing multiple conflicting frequencies simultaneously, creating static and confusion, you'll experience clear, distinct frequencies that arise, broadcast, and transition smoothly without overlap or contamination. This growing coherence dramatically amplifies your reality tuning power. Coherent frequencies create strong, stable resonance with matching quantum probability channels, causing specific scenarios to collapse from superposition into physical manifestation with increasing consistency and speed. Track this over weeks and months. You'll begin noticing that your external reality starts reflecting with increasing accuracy the coherent frequencies you're broadcasting most consistently. Once you've established basic competence with these 5 foundational practices, you can work with more advanced frequency mechanics to accelerate your reality tuning effects. Advanced Technique 1: Frequency Layering. Instead of broadcasting only one frequency at a time, you can consciously layer compatible frequencies to create complex broadcast signatures that resonate with more specific, nuanced probability channels. Joy at 10 Hz, layered with determination. At 18 Hz creates a unique composite signature that resonates specifically with channels involving successful creative manifestation, joyful accomplishment. Calm at 9 Hz, layered with curiosity. At 12 Hz creates a signature that resonates with discovery channels, learning opportunities, intellectual expansion. The key is ensuring the frequencies you're layering are compatible with each other. Their oscillation patterns must create constructive interference, waves that amplify each other, rather than destructive interference that creates static. Experiment with different frequency combinations and observe carefully which produce coherent, complex patterns that feel harmonious in your body versus which create interference static that feels dissonant or unstable. Advanced Technique 2: Frequency Amplification. Once you've identified through direct experience which specific frequencies consistently tune you to beneficial reality channels in your life, you can consciously amplify those broadcasts, not through forced emotion or fake positivity, but through sustained attention and physiological anchoring. If calm frequency consistently tunes you to favorable scenarios in your work environment, you can amplify the calm broadcast through deliberate breathing rhythms, intentional body posture, and environmental cues that reinforce and stabilize the calm oscillation pattern. Advanced Technique 3: Frequency Redirection. When you notice destructive frequencies arising habitually in your system, chronic anxiety, persistent resentment, recurring despair, you can redirect the broadcast energy rather than suppressing it. This is critical to understand. Frequency energy doesn't disappear when you suppress it. It gets displaced into somatic tension, shadow expression, or unconscious behavioral patterns. Redirection involves recognizing the frequency's inherent energy, its amplitude and intensity, and consciously channeling that same energy into a compatible frequency with a different oscillation pattern. Anger's intense, high-amplitude energy can be redirected into determination frequency, which carries similar intensity but with constructive rather than destructive resonance patterns. Anxiety's activation energy can be redirected into focused alertness frequency, maintaining the heightened arousal but shifting the oscillation pattern from chaotic to coherent. This isn't repression or suppression. You're working with the frequency's inherent energetic charge while consciously shifting its wave pattern to a channel that resonates with more beneficial probability outcomes. Let me give you a specific example of how this works in practice. Imagine you're about to enter an important meeting, a job interview, a difficult conversation, any high-stakes scenario. Your system begins broadcasting anxiety frequency. You feel that familiar, rapid, shallow oscillation in your chest and solar plexus. The traditional approach would be to either suppress it, tell yourself to calm down, force yourself to act confident, or be controlled by it. Let the anxiety dictate your behavior. Speak hesitantly, avoid eye contact, diminish your presence. The frequency-conscious approach is entirely different. You recognize the anxiety frequency as it arises. You don't suppress it or amplify it with catastrophic thinking. You allow it to broadcast for its natural 90-second cycle. As it peaks, you extract the channel information. My system is tuned to threat channel right now. This frequency is amplifying threat-aligned probabilities in my immediate field. Then you make a conscious choice. Do I want to continue broadcasting on this channel, or do I want to retune? If you choose to retune, you don't fight the energy that's already mobilized in your system. That high activation, that heightened arousal, that increased heart rate and sharpened focus, these are resources. You redirect that same energetic charge into focused presence frequency. The amplitude remains similar. The intensity stays high, but the oscillation pattern shifts from chaotic and contracted to coherent and expansive. Your breathing deepens slightly. Your posture opens. Your attention sharpens on the present moment, rather than fragmenting into imagined future threats. You've redirected the frequency while maintaining its power. This is the difference between someone who walks into a high-pressure situation broadcasting incoherent anxiety, which tunes them to probabilities where they stumble, forget key points, or trigger negative responses in others, and someone who walks in broadcasting coherent, focused presence, which tunes them to probabilities where they speak clearly, remember everything important, and naturally elicit positive responses. Same initial energy, different frequency pattern, completely different reality channel. Now let's go deeper into something most people never consider. Your habitual frequency patterns, the emotional states you return to repeatedly, create what I call standing waves in your probability field. These are stable, persistent resonance patterns that don't collapse after 90 seconds like momentary frequencies. They remain active in your field continuously, constantly tuning you to specific reality channels even when you're not consciously aware of them. If you habitually return to anxiety frequency multiple times throughout each day, even if each individual instance only lasts 90 seconds, you're creating a standing anxiety wave in your field. This standing wave maintains constant resonance with threat channel probabilities, which means threat-matching scenarios continuously receive amplification in your probability field, making them statistically more likely to manifest regardless of what you're consciously thinking or doing in any given moment. If you habitually return to resentment frequency, you're creating a standing resentment wave that maintains constant resonance with betrayal, disappointment, and conflict channels. If you habitually return to unworthiness frequency, you're creating a standing wave that resonates with rejection, diminishment, and scarcity channels. These standing waves are why some people seem to experience the same types of situations repeatedly, regardless of how much they change their external circumstances, their job, their location, their relationships. The standing wave pattern in their field continues broadcasting the same channel selection signal, so similar probability patterns keep collapsing into manifestation. The transformative practice here is identifying your habitual frequency patterns and consciously working to shift them at the standing wave level, not just managing individual emotional instances. This requires sustained attention over weeks and months. You track which frequencies you return to habitually throughout your day. You begin recognizing the triggers, the situations, thoughts, or interactions that consistently retune you to specific frequencies, and you practice consciously retuning before the frequency becomes habitual, before it creates a standing wave. This is different from trying to be positive all the time or forcing yourself into good moods. It's about recognizing when you're beginning to slip into a habitual frequency pattern and making a conscious choice to complete the cycle and retune, rather than allowing it to become your default broadcast state. Over time, this shifts your standing wave patterns, which shifts the baseline probability channels your field resonates with, which transforms the types of scenarios that consistently manifest in your life. There's another layer to this that becomes accessible once you're working consciously with frequencies. You can begin to recognize the standing wave patterns of other people and entire environments. When you walk into a space, a workplace, a home, a social gathering, you're not just detecting the momentary emotional frequencies people are broadcasting. You're also detecting the standing wave patterns that have built up in that space over time. A workplace where people have habitually broadcast stress, competition, and fear for months or years has a standing wave pattern that resonates with conflict, scarcity, and threat channels. You feel this the moment you enter. It's not just the current mood of the people present. It's the accumulated frequency pattern that's been built into the space itself through repeated broadcast. A home where people have habitually broadcast love, safety, and creativity has a standing wave pattern that resonates with connection, peace, and opportunity channels. You feel this immediately when you enter. The space itself carries a frequency signature independent of who's currently present. When you understand standing waves, you realize why some spaces consistently produce certain types of experiences regardless of who occupies them. The standing wave pattern in the space itself is tuning probability channels. This is why some buildings, some rooms, some locations seem to carry particular energies that affect everyone who enters. It's not mystical. It's accumulated frequency patterns creating stable resonance with specific quantum probability channels. You can work with this consciously. If you occupy a space regularly, your home, your office, your creative studio, you can intentionally build standing wave patterns through consistent, coherent broadcast. If you consistently broadcast coherent calm in your home for weeks and months, you build a standing calm wave in that space that begins affecting everyone who enters, including yourself when you return after being away. The space itself starts tuning people to calm channel probabilities. This is the mechanism behind what ancient traditions called consecrating or blessing a space. It's not supernatural. It's deliberately building beneficial standing wave patterns through sustained, coherent frequency broadcast. Once you fully integrate the recognition that emotions are electromagnetic broadcast frequencies rather than subjective feelings requiring psychological management, your entire relationship with lived experience transforms at a fundamental level. You stop being controlled by emotional reactions. You stop trying to control emotions through willpower and suppression. Instead, you become a conscious broadcaster, someone who understands they're operating a precision quantum tuning instrument and knows how to work with it deliberately. This creates several radical shifts in how you move through reality. First, you stop judging frequencies as inherently good or bad, positive or negative. Every frequency tunes you to a specific reality channel. Fear isn't bad, it's simply tuning to the threat channel. Joy isn't good, it's simply tuning to the opportunity channel. They're channel selectors, information carriers, not moral judgments. Second, you stop identifying with frequency states as defining who you are. You're not an anxious person or a joyful person or an angry person. Your consciousness itself, operating a biological frequency generator that broadcasts on different channels. The frequencies arise and shift continuously. Your essential nature remains unchanged, witnessing the broadcasts without being defined or limited by them. Third, you develop what I call frequency flexibility. Instead of getting stuck broadcasting one frequency for extended periods, creating chronic emotional states, you experience clean frequency, transitions that occur naturally and rapidly. This allows your probability field to retune fluidly, granting you access to different reality channels as your broadcast shifts moment to moment. Fourth, you recognize frequency contagion consciously as it's happening. When entering collective frequency fields, you notice immediately which channel the group is collectively broadcasting on, and you make conscious choices about whether to entrain to that frequency or maintain your own coherent broadcast, regardless of environmental pressure. Most dramatically, you begin seeing your broadcast frequency directly affecting physical reality in real time. As you transmit coherent frequencies consistently, you watch scenarios that match those specific channels collapse from quantum probability into tangible lived experience with remarkable consistency and precision. The ultimate realization is this: you've been doing this unconsciously your entire life. Your emotional frequencies have always been tuning reality channels, selecting which probabilities actualize around you. The only difference now is that you're conscious of the mechanism. You understand how it operates at the quantum mechanical level, and you can work with it deliberately, intentionally, rather than being carried along automatically by unconscious broadcast patterns. Your emotions aren't feelings requiring management, therapy, or medication. They're the most sophisticated frequency tuning mechanism available to biological consciousness. They're showing you in real time which reality channel you're broadcasting on, and which specific scenarios are in the process of collapsing from quantum potential into your physical experience. But here's what most people miss, even after understanding all of this. There's a relationship between your conscious awareness and broadcast coherence that creates a feedback loop. The more conscious you become of your frequencies as they arise, the more naturally coherent they become. Consciousness itself acts as a coherence-generating mechanism. When you're unconscious of your emotional frequencies, treating them as random feelings that happen to you, they tend to be incoherent, contaminated with multiple conflicting signals, amplified by story, suppressed by resistance. But the moment you bring conscious awareness to a frequency as it arises, simply witnessing it without judgment or manipulation, that awareness automatically begins organizing the frequency into greater coherence. This is similar to the observer effect in quantum mechanics. The act of observation affects what's being observed. When you observe your emotional frequency with clear, present awareness, that observation influences the frequency pattern itself, naturally organizing it toward greater coherence without you having to do anything else. This means the fundamental practice isn't complicated technique or elaborate protocol. It's simple, sustained conscious awareness of whatever frequency is arising in your system moment to moment. The more consistently you bring awareness to your frequencies, the more naturally coherent they become, and the more powerful their reality tuning effects. There's also a critical understanding about what I call frequency transitions, the moments when one frequency is shifting into another. These transition points are windows of maximum leverage for conscious reality tuning. When anxiety frequency is naturally completing its 90-second cycle and beginning to shift, there's a brief window, usually just a few seconds, where the next frequency hasn't fully locked in yet. Your system is in transition between channels. This is your moment of maximum choice. If you're unconscious during this transition, your system will typically default to habitual patterns, shifting to whatever frequency you most commonly broadcast. If anxiety usually leads to more anxiety in your system, or if anxiety usually leads to resignation or numbness, that's where you'll automatically tune during the transition. But if you're conscious during the transition, you can consciously select which frequency to tune into next. As the anxiety completes its cycle, you can feel the transition beginning. And in that brief window before the next frequency locks in, you can consciously choose to tune to calm, to curiosity, to determination, to whatever frequency aligns with the reality channel you want to access. These transition moments are where conscious frequency work becomes most powerful. You're not fighting against an already established frequency. You're making clean choices during the natural transition windows, when your system is already in the process of retuning. This is why the practice of allowing frequencies to complete their natural cycle is so important. It gives you access to these high-leverage transition windows. Now let me address something that often confuses people when they first start working with frequencies consciously. Sometimes when you become aware of your frequency patterns and start working with them intentionally, it can feel like your emotions are becoming more intense or arising more frequently. This isn't because the practice is making things worse. It's because you're finally perceiving what's actually been happening all along. When you were unconscious of your frequencies, you were suppressing them automatically, creating constant background static that you'd learn to tune out. Now that you're allowing frequencies to broadcast cleanly without suppression, you're experiencing their actual intensity for the first time. This can feel overwhelming initially. The anxiety you suppressed automatically for years might feel much stronger when you allow it to broadcast for 90 seconds without resistance. But this is temporary. What you're experiencing is the backlog clearing. All those suppressed frequencies that were creating static in your field, they need to complete their cycles. Once they clear, once you've allowed them to broadcast and complete naturally a few times, the intensity decreases dramatically. Your system learns that it doesn't need to amplify the signal just to get your attention through the suppression layer. This clearing phase usually lasts anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, depending on how much suppression you've been maintaining. During this phase, the practice is simple. Keep allowing frequencies to broadcast cleanly. Keep extracting their channel information. Keep choosing consciously during transition windows. The intensity will naturally decrease as your system recalibrates. There's another phenomenon that emerges as you develop frequency consciousness. You start recognizing what I call frequency signatures in other people and in collective fields with increasing precision. Just as you can identify anxiety versus joy versus anger in your own system through their distinct oscillation patterns, you can begin detecting these same patterns in others, not through their words or facial expressions, but through direct electromagnetic perception. This isn't mind reading or emotional projection. You're detecting the actual electromagnetic frequencies being broadcast from their nervous systems. You walk into a meeting and immediately sense that someone is broadcasting high-intensity anger frequency, even though they're speaking calmly. You enter a social situation and detect that beneath someone's cheerful presentation, they're broadcasting deep sadness frequency. This gives you tremendous advantage in navigating social and collective fields. You're no longer relying only on surface communication. You're reading the actual frequency signatures being broadcast, which reveals what's actually happening beneath performed behavior. This allows you to respond to the actual frequency someone is broadcasting, rather than just their surface presentation, which creates much more authentic and effective interaction. But this also requires responsibility. When you can detect others' frequency signatures, you have to make conscious choices about whether to entrain to them or maintain your own coherent broadcast. If someone approaches you broadcasting intense anxiety, you'll feel the pull to entrain to that frequency. Your system naturally wants to synchronize, but now you can recognize what's happening and consciously choose whether to entrain or maintain your own calm broadcast, potentially helping shift their frequency toward coherence rather than being pulled into their chaos. When you recognize emotions as frequencies instead of feelings, you gain direct access to the tuning mechanism of reality itself. Not control in the dominating sense, not manipulation, but conscious participation in the frequency mechanics that determine which channel of infinite possible realities you're currently receiving and living. The quantum field is oscillating across infinite channels simultaneously. Your emotional frequency determines which channel you're tuned to at any given moment. Reality tunes itself to match your broadcast. The second you recognize this and stop interfering with a precision instrument you were never meant to manage or fix, only to operate consciously and skillfully, everything shifts. Your emotions are frequencies broadcasting into the quantum field. Reality tunes itself to match that broadcast with mechanical precision. The question has never been whether this mechanism is operating. It's always operating. The only question is whether you're conscious of it, working with it intentionally, or unconscious of it, broadcasting randomly on channels you didn't choose and don't want. Everything changes when you shift from feeling management to frequency awareness. Not because emotions themselves change, but because you finally recognize what they actually are and how to work skillfully with their natural oscillation patterns to consciously select which reality channel crystallizes from the infinite spectrum of quantum possibilities surrounding you. Your broadcast determines your channel. Your channel determines your reality. The tuning mechanism has always been in your hands. You're just now learning how to use it. And here's what becomes possible once you're fluent in frequency consciousness. You can begin creating what I call frequency protocols, intentional sequences of frequency states designed to tune you to very specific, nuanced probability channels that align with particular outcomes you're moving toward. Think of this like a musician composing a piece of music. Individual notes are like individual frequencies. But when you arrange specific notes in specific sequences with specific timing, you create something far more complex and powerful than any single note could produce. The same principle applies to emotional frequencies. Let's say you're preparing to step into a creative project, writing, designing, building something new. You could simply try to force yourself into a creative mood, which usually doesn't work and creates resistance static. Or you can construct a frequency protocol that naturally tunes you to the creative channel through intentional sequence. You might begin by allowing whatever frequency is currently present to complete its cycle, clearing your field. Then you consciously tune into curiosity frequency for 3 to 5 minutes, allowing your system to explore, wonder, ask questions without needing answers. This opens your field to possibility. Then you shift into calm frequency, bringing relaxation and spaciousness that allows ideas to emerge without force. Then you layer in subtle excitement frequency, just enough activation energy to move from reception into expression. And finally, you add determination frequency, the coherent focus that allows sustained creative output. This isn't forced or artificial. You're working with natural frequencies, allowing each to arise and broadcast coherently, but you're arranging them in an intentional sequence that tunes you progressively toward the specific probability channel where creative flow exists. Each frequency in the sequence prepares your field for the next frequency, building toward the final state where creative expression becomes effortless because you're broadcasting on the exact channel where those probabilities are most amplified. You can create frequency protocols for any outcome you're moving toward. A protocol for difficult conversations that sequences through grounding, clarity, compassion, and authentic expression. A protocol for physical performance that moves through activation, focus, flow, and sustained power. A protocol for deep rest that sequences through release, softening, trust, and complete surrender. The key is understanding that these aren't techniques you're doing to yourself. You're not manipulating your emotions or forcing states. You're working with the natural frequencies available to your system, allowing them to arise coherently and arranging them in sequences that tune you to specific reality channels. This is frequency orchestration, and it's available once you understand the basic mechanics we've covered. Let me also address what happens in your field over longer timescales, weeks, months, years of consistent frequency consciousness practice. Something profound shifts in the baseline resonance of your entire system. Your default frequency, the state your system returns to when nothing particular is happening, begins to rise in coherence and elevation. Most people's default frequency is somewhere between low-grade anxiety and mild dissatisfaction, a kind of contracted baseline that resonates with scarcity and threat channels even when nothing threatening is actually present. This default frequency broadcasts continuously in the background, subtly tuning their probability field towards scenarios that match that contracted state. As you practice frequency consciousness consistently, allowing frequencies to complete their cycles, choosing consciously during transitions, cultivating coherence, your default frequency naturally shifts. It rises toward what researchers call baseline well-being, a calm, open, mildly positive state that resonates with opportunity and connection channels. This isn't about forcing positivity or spiritual bypassing. It's a natural result of clearing suppressed frequencies, reducing interference static, and training your system to return to coherence rather than contraction. Your nervous system learns through repeated experience that it's safe to maintain an elevated, coherent default state, because you're no longer adding the constant interference of suppression and amplification. When your default frequency shifts to baseline coherence, your entire life begins to shift because you're now broadcasting a beneficial signal continuously, even when you're not consciously working with frequencies. The standing wave pattern in your field naturally resonates with more favorable probability channels, which means beneficial scenarios begin manifesting with increasing frequency and consistency. People often describe this as feeling like life is finally working with them rather than against them, like they're finally in the right place at the right time, like opportunities and connections are finding them rather than requiring exhausting effort to pursue. This isn't luck or privilege. It's the natural result of shifting your baseline broadcast frequency to a pattern that resonates with beneficial probability channels. This is also where the collective impact becomes most significant. When your default frequency is coherent and elevated, you're continuously contributing that signal to every collective field you enter. You become what ancient traditions called a beneficial presence, someone whose mere presence in a space naturally shifts the collective frequency toward greater coherence. You're not trying to help or heal anyone. You're simply broadcasting coherent frequency, and that broadcast naturally affects collective field patterns through resonance. This is how individual frequency consciousness creates collective transformation. As more people shift their default frequency to baseline coherence, the standing wave patterns in collective fields begin to shift. Workplaces become less toxic. Communities become more connected. Families become more peaceful. Not through intervention or effort, but through the natural resonance effects of coherent frequency broadcast. The implications of this are staggering when you really let them land. Every moment of every day, you're broadcasting frequency. That broadcast is interfacing with the quantum probability field, and the field is responding by amplifying probability patterns that match your signal. This is always happening. It's not optional. It's not something you turn on or off. You're always broadcasting. You're always tuning reality channels. The only question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Whether you're operating the tuning mechanism deliberately or being carried along by habitual patterns you've never examined. Whether you're choosing which channels to broadcast on based on where you actually want to go, or randomly jumping between channels based on unconscious conditioning and environmental entrainment. When you truly absorb this, it changes everything about how you move through your day. Every emotional frequency that arises is no longer a problem to solve or a state to endure. It's information, precise channel feedback, showing you which probabilities are currently being amplified in your field. Every moment is an opportunity to consciously choose which channel to broadcast on next. Every interaction is a chance to either entrain to collective patterns or contribute coherent frequency that shifts collective fields toward beneficial channels. This is what it means to live as frequency conscious. You're no longer a passive recipient of reality happening to you. You're a conscious participant in the quantum mechanical process through which reality crystallizes from infinite possibility into specific manifestation. Your emotional frequencies are the interface. Your consciousness is the choice point. Your coherent broadcast is the signal that tunes which version of reality actualizes around you.